fun. Yeah, I know a couple of you were making comments that we weren't playing music, and the reason that we're not playing music right now is because every time I play music, Facebook stops me, and they take my video off. And so I know a lot of you can't stay for the entire webinar, which is fine. We'll replay it for you. And some of you have written me and said that you are going to jump in halfway, and I don't want it to not be playing on Facebook Live for all of you. Anyhow, I'm Jillian Sidoti. What?
I just want to make sure we were having mic issues, so can you guys hear us okay?
Several people say they can hear and see us.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
And can you remind them about raised hands?
Oh yeah, let's raise our hands. I'm gonna let you do that.
Let me raise our hand.
Yeah, how to
Don't
raise
your
it.
hand.
Oh, don't raise your hand. You want to use the Q and oh, sorry, Lauren.
Go.
Okay, so don't raise your hand. Oh, 7 participants
That's
raised
right.
their hand.
Before we even
Keeps on
now
going.
8, so don't
Stop
stop
raising your hand. Ah! You guys
We're
are
giving you the wrong information. So if you want to ask a question, don't raise your hand. But they're dropping.
They're dropping their hands
So
now.
go to the
Oh,
Q&A button.
I thought you guys were punking us.
They probably were. Go to the Q&A, and we have Lauren on hand who is monitoring any comments you want to have, and then we'll try and answer some questions at the end too.
Yeah. So for sure.
The audio is very low.
Okay, we got this brand new great microphone, and of course it's not as good as our old one. So
Hold on. I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing the right thing. You share. See, I'm not sharing the right thing. I'm not. Gosh. This one. Share. There we go. All right. So I'm sharing it, and we're live. And okay. So everybody, today's presentation. I'm Jillian Sidoti, and this is my compadre,
Nancee Tegeder.
Hi. And so today we're going to be talking about how to raise $1 million. And I'm really going to try to give you some real steps. I don't have a lot of slides. I purposely didn't create a lot of slides today because I want to start, give you some stories, give you some examples, give you some homework of things to do. And then I have a very special offer for all of you before we start taking questions. We will take your questions today. As a reminder, use the Q&A box, not the chat box. Don't raise your hands. I'm not going to bring you on live asking questions because I always fear that. So please just type your questions in the Q&A. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, you can just make a comment below and we'll be happy to answer your question. We have our friend Lauren over here monitoring all your activities. Our audio is still very low. How about now?
We gotta just get close.
How about now?
Let's use that one.
I don't know.
They said it's better.
Oh, it's better.
We'll just get really close.
We're gonna.
Scoot your chairs closer.
We're gonna be really good friends today. Now they can't see our matching outfits though.
Oh, it's very disappointing when you can't see our matching outfits. Shout out to my hairdresser who I got my hair did, Maria Vitale. Thank you very much. It's kind of sitting flat right now, but that's my fault, not hers. Anyhow, okay, so how to raise $1 million. Let's get started. How to raise $1 million. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is set a foundation. And a lot of you people out there are finding deals, running around, getting deals, doing your thing, making things happen, whether you're in the real estate industry, the movie industry, wherever you are. I see you making things happen, like you want to make a film or you want to put your invention out there, or you want to buy an apartment building. Whatever it is, I see you all getting the deals done, and then you have not laid a foundation. And this is imperative no matter what business you're in. Remember, this course is called Private Money Rockstar. This whole thing that I do is called Private Money Rockstar because I found a lot of similarities between trying to become a rock star and trying to raise capital. And, it's no different. If you want to become a rock star, you have to lay a foundation. You have to get songs. You have to come up with a logo. You have to come up with a concept. You have to come up with an image. You have to do all of those things. No different for your business, right? So you need to get your logo done. You need to figure out your image. You need to set up your social media channels, and you need to plan a website. And these are all things about, the next question is, well, how do you do those things? Well, I'm going to give you some action items on how to do those things as we get to the end. But it's just important to really kind of figure these things out for yourself, not just for your investors, because if you don't know who you are, how are your investors going to know who you are? And you also don't want to, have investor confusion. You want people to see your logo, see what you do, and know exactly what it all means, right? When you see the Amazon logo, A to Z, you can get everything on Amazon from A to Z. It was very methodical. That logo was well thought out. Actually, Jeff Bezos's lawyer came up with that logo. So yeah. Nancy's going to jump in. I see her.
Yeah.
Into the mic.
So a lot of times when we're setting up offerings for clients, they need to pick a new name for their entity. And so I think what you're saying here is very helpful. You put some thought into that name. A lot of times if you have more than one entity, it helps to have that a similar name within all of those entities so people can identify you as being a part of this foundation that you're creating.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing is too, I hear a lot, it can be a generational thing, and it can be a generational thing. It can be just a fear of lack of privacy thing. But I hear a lot of people being scared of social media for promoting their business. That's stupid. And I'm just going to be straight out. That's stupid. We live in an age of social media. That is probably the media most people pay attention to in one form, way, shape, or another. And it's not necessarily Facebook, but if we especially look at the millennial generation, they're on Instagram, they're on Snapchat, they're on YouTube. My kids watch YouTube. And if that's the audience you're trying to reach, obviously for raising $1 million, it's probably not. But if you are trying to reach a particular audience, no matter what audience it is, you just have to find how to reach them through social media. And if we look at some of the biggest companies out there are social media companies. Google owns YouTube, right? That is a form of social media. It is the most used search engine on the planet, YouTube, not Google. YouTube, because people are looking for information. So if you're not using these channels or these opportunities to get your business out there for free, by the way, then you're really missing a massive opportunity altogether. So you really need to make sure that you have to get your social media up and going. You have to plan your website, and you have to figure out your image. That's just setting the foundation. We haven't even gotten into.
Can I ask you a question about social media?
Yeah.
What would you recommend as far as paying for boosts or investing in advertisement on social media sites? Is it just enough to just have your Facebook page, or should you be paying to promote it?
I think that you should have part of your marketing budget, and you should have a marketing budget to include that. But if you don't know how to do it properly, and there is a science, Lauren and I have gone to a lot of events where we've learned the science of doing a Facebook ad or doing a YouTube posting. If you, a sponsored YouTube ad or a sponsored Google ad, if you don't know what you're doing, you're just throwing money into a dark hole. So I would recommend that you don't.
So maybe it's worth investing in a media person or some counsel to help you with that if you want to go that route.
Right. So so I would either consider doing that, but really set the foundation first. If you just start throwing money at Facebook ads and don't have all of this other stuff done, it's like a waste of time.
Right.
It's a total waste of time. And if you haven't reached out to your own personal network, complete waste of time. You really have to start adding value and putting value out there before you even consider start promoting,
right.
start spending money. That's just putting good money after bad. All right. So really got to set that foundation. And if you don't have that out and you start going out and asking people for money, you're going to lose them right away. You're going to lose them, almost immediately. So you want to be very, very, aware of the fact that if you go out and are looking for people to invest with you, you need to set that foundation. Now, I talked about social media channels and making sure you have that up and running. And the comment I usually get is, well, I thought you couldn't advertise for investors. And to a certain extent, you are advertising for investors just by talking about your company. And one of the examples I always use is Boeing. When I was in college, Boeing had a print advertisement it was either Inc. or Forbes magazine. So it was, a full page ad of a Boeing 747, like their brand new Boeing 747, and them talking about how awesome their new Boeing 747 was and how safe it was, right? And so my marketing professor held that ad up and said, who is buying 747s? Right, well, only airlines, right, or the government, not right? Us. That's it, that's who's buying. So why pull a full page ad in Forbes magazine for your new Boeing 747 if no one's going to buy that 747 except for the government and airlines?
They're setting their foundation.
They're setting their foundation. They're letting investors know what they're up to. That ad, without telling people to invest, is an ad for investors.
So let me make sure I got this straight. So if one of our clients is doing an offering, a 506B, where they're not allowed to advertise, they're still okay to have a web page just talking generally about their business, maybe not the specifics of one particular deal, but just promoting what they do and getting that foundation out there about their business. Right, exactly.
So and you should be doing that anyhow. Like, that's how you build credibility, is that you should be talking about who you are and what you do. But let's move on to onto the next point of this, which is you need to lay the groundwork.
I've not seen these slides yet.
Who can it be now? Oh, I promise there's no music. I'm sorry. Oh, are we gonna get? All right. All right. So what you need to do is you need to lay the groundwork. So now once you set your foundation, and your foundation has been what? You've created your websites. You've decided what your image is going to be. You've decided what you set up your social media channels. You've got all that good stuff, that foundation going. Now you have to lay the groundwork. And what do you think I mean by groundwork?
Well, you want to make sure that if people are going to invest, that you're set up to accept that money.
We're going to get to that.
Oh, so I jumped ahead. That's part of it.
No, that is part of it. And we're going to get to that. But really what I want you guys to really think about is what do you do? And what is your message? And what are you telling people? So in 30 seconds or less, you should be able to tell me
your elevator pitch.
Your elevator pitch. You should be able to tell me immediately. And that is not an offer. I should not hear, I'm offering you 8% preferred return on your investment. That is not your elevator pitch, because no one cares. No one cares about your 8% preferred return. Everybody offers an 8% preferred return. And here's just to say, well, what if I offer 10? Stop. Just stop. No one cares about that either. No one cares about 15, 20, 25. They care about why you're different and why they should invest with you. And your returns are at the way bottom of the list as to why somebody should invest with you. So just please keep that in mind. I'm really sorry if the sound is going in and out. I don't have an explanation for it. I wish I did. Let's try this. Tell me if that's better. All right. So, okay.
Good. What it comes down to is you know, you see those ads all the time on Facebook, invest $1 million. But if you don't know the person or you don't trust them, you're not just going to go give your money to someone. You want to have that pitch be something that would appeal to somebody that you know or would want to get to know you, or creating that trust relationship.
Yeah. And so, like, for example, we let's see, what's a good one that I've seen? Local dollars making local sense, right? So where the pitch was, we go into neighborhoods in our own community and we use your money from our community to revitalize these neighborhoods. So that appeals to a bunch of different levels. You know, invest where you eat. It appeals to helping their local community, and it appeals to being able to see the investment at work. There's so many appeals to that particular type of marketing or that type of pitch. You know, really good pitches are always talking about the why, and the why is rarely, I would say only in cryptocurrency is the why, the returns. And we've seen how that's worked out.
Right.
So you want your why to be something that really speaks to people. So I'll give you an example. I worked on a deal here in right in Murrieta. It's called Murrieta Genomics. Murrieta Genomics is a one of only two of its kind type of lab. Okay, right there I've got you. There's only two of it that are like it in the entire country. One in Murrieta and one in San Francisco. And what do? Well, they're a genomics lab where they do genomic testing for universities and and hospitals and things like that. They run tests and things like that for those kinds of institutions. That's how they make money. But how is it that they're only the second of its type in the entire country? Well, it's because they're also an incubation lab. And what they do is they incubate businesses that need to use genetic testing in order to have their proof of concept, and they vet these businesses. So now you have a why. Why would we invest? Because there's only two of it at its type. It's not just providing the testing, but it's also providing an incubation environment. They have a great why. You can infer returns from it. I mean, you can infer if they find, you know, the next big cancer drug in that lab, the returns will be there, period. So that's what you want to do. You want to infer your returns and the value of the investment proposition through what makes unique. And so unique selling proposition transcends the purchase of a product. The unique selling proposition, it goes to the investor as well. So that unique selling proposition that you have should be global. It goes to the investor, it goes to the end customer as well. So I want you guys to consider what is your new unique selling proposition and come up with that. Okay, that's just one thing that you have to do to lay the groundwork. The next thing you have, before you even get to that part though, there's something you have to do before that. And that's come up with your business plan. So many times I see entrepreneurs get so excited about so many different shiny objects that they have 20 shiny objects that they're talking about and no narrow focus. They don't know what the focus of the company should be. So I want you guys to all, and I know you've heard me say this before, I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to tell you to bullet point what, Nancee?
Your business plan. But what I think is a good point, because I would say many, many times in working with our clients, that's the last thing that's thrown together.
Right.
After they found their deal, we've done all the documents, then they put that together.
Yeah.
And it should be the first thing that we see. And
yeah.
It makes everything flow much smoother. They have a focus, a point, and so we're not all over the place. And that helps investors too. They want to see that.
Yeah. And you need to know your story better than your investors so that you can explain the story. So your business plan is your story. And all you need to do is bullet point it. That's all you have to do. So lay the groundwork for your business plan. So now, there's some things you can also be doing while you're getting this all together. And those things that you should be doing is figuring out how you're then going to attack, right? And we're going to get, attacking is the fourth thing of this entire presentation. So we're only on the second right
Which
now.
I think everyone wants to jump to that, but it doesn't
Yeah,
make sense
Stop
before you do
jumping. Stop jumping. Yeah, guy who was asking, I don't know, I saw somebody going, is there going to be anything of value here? Calm down, you. This is all valuable because if you don't do these things, you can't jump to number 4. You can't do number 4 effectively.
Right. You can't come up and ask someone for money.
No.
They're not going to give it to you. No one wants to invest
Mm-mm.
unless they know you, your story, your plan, and all these things.
You gotta lay the foundation of what it is that you're doing.
Richard
Richard's
Hall.
funny. I
know,
like
he's
you,
cracking
Richard.
me
Yeah,
up.
yeah, I like you, Richard.
Stay focused.
You're
about
okay.
Richard's Hall.
So I know. So you got to set a foundation and you got to lay the groundwork before you jump to number 4. And actually, we have a third thing in the middle of this. But let's continue talking about laying the groundwork. What else do? You got to get your business plan. You have to have your 30-second elevator pitch. And then you also should be looking for opportunity. And this transcends, looking for deals if you're a real estate entrepreneur, looking for your next project if you're a film producer, or looking for your next, incubator company if you're Murrieta Genomics, whatever it might be. This transcends that and goes into looking for opportunity and what I mean by that is looking for opportunity to reach out to investors. So you should be making yourself a master list of where you're going to go to find investors. And that doesn't mean you physically have to go places necessarily, but you have to have a plan of where you're going to attack. Are you going to go and find doctors to invest in your deals? Are you going to go and add value if you're a real estate entrepreneur on a Facebook message board or a Bigger Pockets, or are you going to go to real estate conferences? Are you going to start meetups? Marissa, I know you're on here, and my suggestion to you, girlfriend, would be you should be starting meetups right now here in Temecula Valley, telling people about how to get better sleep. Get a meetup going for that. So these are the things you want to do. You want to start reaching out, figuring out how are you going to start touching people in a non-creepy manner. That's always important.
That's the hardest part. I mean, you got to network, and people.
I like how you said it's the hardest part to not touch people in a creepy manner.
The creepy part. It's hard because it is uncomfortable to go up and say, can I have some money?
Right.
That is hard to do, but that's what you're here for. That's what you need to do.
Well, here's the thing. What I'm trying to do by telling you all these things right now is to eliminate the need to even ask people for money.
Right.
We're going to get people
come to you.
Yeah. We want people to say, how can I get in on that?
Right. So you don't want to come and say, hey,
Right.
will you invest in my project? You just say, hey, this is something I'm working on. And then plan on them. Well, I want to be a part of that. How do I make it exciting?
How do I get involved? So you make it exciting for them. So my dear friend Marissa, who I saw pop up here, she knows. I could actually just be doing this presentation to Marissa, and I'm not trying to pick on you, girl, but you and I have talked about this. So, for example, Marissa is super smart. She's one of the smartest ladies I've ever met. She knows a lot of things about a lot of stuff. And she really, though, wants to help people focus on how to get a better night's sleep. She's a complete expert on that, but she also knows how to do Reiki, and she also knows how to, God, I've gone to her for so many Ayurvedic medicine. I mean, she knows so much stuff. I've never taken a better yoga class except for taking one from Marissa. But I've said to Marissa, you have all these great interests, but I want you, oh, by the way, I should do a shout out for Well Balanced Healing Arts. Go check them out on Facebook. She's amazing. She knows so much stuff. But anyhow, I've said to her, girlfriend, you've got to come down to what is it you really want to teach people? What is it that you really want people to know you for? And she said, I want people to know that I can teach you how to get a better night's sleep. I know how to get a better night's sleep. So
now I want to hear about it. She's networked with a friend, and then that spreads.
Yeah.
But no, that really is how it works. I mean, you can reach out to some friends and family, and then they can spread the word as well.
And that Marissa has some big plans. So right now, your network is your net worth, right? You've all heard that saying before. So if you're like, well, my network's pretty crappy, then you need to get a better network. How do you do that? You have to start planning loud. This is part of your laying the groundwork, is going out and getting a better network. So when you're ready with step 4, we're going to get to it. Don't worry. When we're ready with step 4, you can be ready to deploy and say, hey, I'm ready with this opportunity. Who's with me? So using Marissa again as an example, what she should be doing is hosting meetups, going to other events, just networking with people who she knows are interested in her, what she does and how she does things. So for example, if she finds a meetup in town that is a yoga meetup or a meditation meetup, all this stuff, most of these meetup stuff things are free. She can go out and start meeting people in the community who share a similar interest as her. And I know a lot of you know, especially those of you that are in the real estate industry know that, but I was just at a meeting yesterday. I'm trying to think of who it was. Oh yeah, I was meeting with some people who are in the cannabis industry, and they have a network of doctors. These doctors never leave the hospital. They never leave the hospital. They're on call constantly. This gentleman actually was talking about this one doctor he knows leaves the hospital 1 day a month. Literally, that's how busy he is. That's how on call he is. That's how in demand he is. So he leaves the hospital 1 day a month.
So he has a lot of money to invest.
He has a lot of money to
meet
invest
anybody.
and absolutely no time. So my suggestion to them is this is your audience. If you can get their attention on that 1 day, if you can give them a reason to invest with you on that 1 day, that's all you need. Because half the time they don't even have time to look at their bank accounts. And you just have to make it really, really easy for them. If you don't have a foundation and a groundwork, you've already lost them because they're only going to have 20 seconds of attention span, and you need to be able to get to them right away and make it really easy for them to make the choice. And generally speaking, people like that, it's a really easy decision for them because they have to make decisions quickly because they have no other time to think or to process or to analyze. So you have to set the foundation for them. You have to lay the groundwork for them. You got to be able to tell them in 30 seconds or less why they should be working with you. And by not telling them why they should be working with you, the sentence shouldn't be, you should work with me because. The sentence should be, this is what we do. They'll draw their own conclusions. Okay.
Someone brought up a good point too, though. A lot of our older clients are not comfortable with the social media aspect that we talked about. I think a couple options. If you already have your network, if you've been experienced and have those networks in the business, you may not need that. But if you're still struggling, if you're on here, you probably want more advice on how to find investors. Hire a millennial.
Yeah, hire a millennial.
No, but I mean, you still need to be out there. You need to have that social media presence. So if you're not comfortable doing it, get somebody that is.
And no one wants this. Can you give me some money? So this is why, again, this stuff's so important. Okay, so lay the groundwork, set up your foundation. What's next? You have to be ready to take money. What's that mean, Nancee?
Hire us.
Okay, so that is true in part. But so what does that mean? You have to have your paperwork together. You got to have a PPM. You have to have your corporate documents ready. How are investors supposed to invest if you have nothing ready for them? If you don't have a subscription agreement for them to sign, if you don't have disclosures for them to read, if you don't have a corporate foundation and your company set up properly, these are all really important things to have. What are they buying if you don't have this all set up? So you need to get this set up. You have to have your paperwork done. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this a lot because that is talking about why you need us. And I don't.
It said our sound. Can people hear us?
Oh,
looks like our sound just went
How about
out.
now? Somebody's getting fired.
I was there. Here goes our IT guy. Any luck?
How are we doing? All right.
Okay.
All
Go
right.
back. Thanks.
All right. So, all right.
Okay.
So, what you want to really be doing is getting that paperwork together and making sure that you have something for them to invest in. Now, once you have that ready, you have, and I'm not going to dwell on this too much. I probably should spend more time on this very subject because it's a super important subject. But we've done plenty of webinars on how to put your documents together. So I'm not going to kill you with that. What I really want to get to is the moment you've all been waiting for. You need to have 3 points of contact.
That's from our, I'm creepily touching her.
Okay. Oh yeah. I actually I want to go back real quick before I get to the creepy part. So actually it's the best part, but okay. This is another thing is about be ready to take money. It's not just about paperwork. And in today's day and age, let's go back to my doctor example. You want to make it super, super easy for him. You know, doctor probably has a laptop and a cell phone, right? It's probably a pain in the butt for him to print anything out. He doesn't want to print anything out. He doesn't want to go to the bank to wire money. He's leaving the hospital 1 day per month. Yeah. The last thing he wants to do is stand in line to send a wire. No. Right? And I know a lot of banks allow you to send a wire online, but if it's a large amount of money, it becomes more complicated, right? So what you want to do is you want to be ready. You want to have a platform for which investors can just input their information, check some boxes, sign, put their banking information in, and then the money gets withdrawn for them. And we have some opportunities for you guys to get this technology. If you need help with that, we also have a lot of resources. So if you have any questions about resources on how to take money online from investors, we are absolutely happy to help you with that. And you're welcome to contact us about that information. So what you really want to be doing is not just making sure your paperwork is ready and they have a vehicle in which to invest, but then they can easily invest. You have a way, a system, if you will, of getting investors through the door. You have a system of getting investors through the door. So whether that's having them come in, sit down and sign paperwork, in this day and age, not a super fan of. Maybe your older investors would completely appreciate that if you're dealing with older investors. But in this day and age, if you're dealing with Gen Xers or millennials, really, honestly, you have to have a way for them to go online and DocuSign. Every single real estate closing I've done for the last 3 years has been digital. DocuSign. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of times that I've stood up my real estate agent at Starbucks because I forgot I was supposed to meet her for a closing. I'm not joking, because she needed a wedding signature. Don't laugh at me. Nancy's like, that's typical, Jillian.
Oh, no, everything is digital. I say the flip side of that. I saw in here, light bulb moment, don't make it hard. Like, have you ever tried paying the IRS? It is so difficult to make those payments go through sometimes. And we're trying to give them money and it's very frustrating. Yeah. So if someone's willing and wants to give you money, make it as easy as possible.
Make it as easy as possible. Okay, so now back to the point, to this part.
3 touches.
Yeah, 3 touches. All right, so 3 points of contact. So the reason why I have the We Are the World is this is a methodology that has been ingrained in me by Ken Cragen, who did We Are the World. He put the whole We Are the World together. He also put Hands Across America together. And it's been reinforced by my dear friend, Frank McKinney, who is, if anybody don't know who Frank McKinney is, he is a real estate artist. He builds these beautiful mansions on the beach in Florida, on the eastern coast of Florida, and just amazing, beautiful works of art. And he also he doesn't say this is what he's implementing, but he also implements this strategy of 3 points of contact. So in other words, what you need to be doing is planning how you're going to reach investors 3 times in a very short period of time. Now, this transcends your marketing campaign. Okay, and what I mean by that is, yes, your marketing campaign should have 3 points of contact. We'll get to that. Then on an individualized investor scenario, you should also have 3 points of contact. Okay, so let's start with talking about what I mean by on a marketing campaign. So let's say you're getting ready to launch your fund. You should have 3 major things that you're doing to get in front of an audience. And by the way, 3 is, yes, a magical number, but that's where it starts. You don't have to end at 3. 3 is just the minimal amount you should be doing. So what should you be doing if you're launching a fund? You should make sure you have speaking engagements set up, an event set up. Maybe you have a book that you're releasing at the same time. You're going to do a book launch. You're going to hold a conference or an educational seminar. You put out newsletters. You do some meetups. You have a party to celebrate the launch of the fund. You do videos talking about what it is you're up to. You can do free reports. I guess I really care about free reports because I have a free report and free reports on here. Yeah, and I have newsletter and newsletters. And the point being is that you guys should be thinking about all the different ways you could potentially touch potential investors. And now I'll give you an example from my own life where I've implemented this a long time ago. So when I was running the record label, I used to run a record label before I did this. I wanted to do a record release party for my husband's band. And I wanted to make sure that I got every DJ in Boston to come, or at least to talk about it. So here's what I did. I got a club, and I got them to give me exclusive booking rights for like around Halloween. So that was, first of all, it was Halloween, right? Number 1. Number 2, I also put together a CD, right? So it's a CD release party. It's on Halloween, right? So I have this party. I have a CD
that people can take with them.
But the CD, I'll get back to the CD and how I did that. And then the third thing I pulled ads on a local radio station. So I pulled ads on local radio station to invite people to the event. And I also coincided that with getting the airplay for some of the songs, or for one of the songs, really. I also coincided that with interviews for the CD release party. But how did I get them all to do this? I got a black CD. There's these novelty CDs. I got a black CD. I got gold labels, and I printed on the black CD and gold labels the invitation to the CD release party. But before I did any of that, I got it sponsored by Budweiser, so I was able to offer free beer.
Well, there you go.
So everybody can.
So every event have free beer.
Yes, and then I also bribed everybody because I said, like, hey, if you get your friends to come, I'll let you come to the VIP party and you can get free beer.
Yeah.
So I got 2 news articles, a ton of radio interviews. I got a couple of DJs to come. I got Budweiser to sponsor. I made a ton of money. It worked out perfectly, but I hit every single point I could hit. Everybody. And this is another trick. I don't recommend this trick because I think it was probably illegal, but whatever. Let's talk about it anyhow.
Sure, mute.
Yeah.
Sam's going out.
Yeah. So, well, and this they can't sue me anymore. It's statute of limitations, but whatever. Anyhow, so there used to be this free newspaper in Boston called the Boston Phoenix. It doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. So the Boston Phoenix, and they had these boxes where you could go in, you could take a free one, right? You pull the, like, on the street and whatever. And you could, like, think of it, for you real estate entrepreneurs, think about it like as the Home and Land news magazines you see around town, right? Similar concept. We would take all of the Boston Phoenixes, put them in our car from one box, open them up, throw a flyer in each one, then drive to the next box, take those out and replace them with the ones, and then just drive from box to box with our flyer.
I'm sure that was illegal.
Well, it was free advertising. So, I probably owed a lot because I called the Boston Phoenix. It was very expensive to put an ad in there, so I put my own ad.
There you go.
But I'm not recommending you do anything illegal. But my point being is you have to be methodical about this. You have to hit everybody. And what was I doing? Was I saying, I'm looking for investors, or I want you to necessarily even buy the CD? No, that was implied. It was implied. Come to this event. I'm promoting this event so you'll all buy my CD so I can get these guys on tour so I can put, like, it was all supposed to be an event to leading up to other things. And then I put them on tour, and because I had this big, huge event, I had this credibility going into the tour with all this advertisement, radio play. See how it works? So it's the same thing for you guys. So real estate entrepreneurs, I'm going to talk to you because I know most of you on here are real estate entrepreneurs. So I want to speak to you specifically. Let's say that you have a multifamily building that you're trying to raise money for, or you know you're going to be raising money for your multifamily building. You should have some kind of event. Invite people to it. You don't necessarily have to make the event for free. If you're offering something of value, you don't necessarily have to offer the event for free. If you really just want to have a party, then perhaps do that for free. So I saw Adam Adams do something really inventive recently. If any of you know who Adam Adams is, he's actually doing a private money summit in October, October 4th and 5th in Denver, if you want to check that out. But I saw him do something genius. He went to a big event in Dallas recently, and when he got there, he told everybody, I'm doing a reception, drinks on me. Well, who's not going to come for free drinks? And it gave him great exposure. And probably what ended up happening is, I'm guessing, is people were like, yes, I'll come. And then those people were saying, well, I have to go because I'm going to a cocktail party. And they said, oh, you're going to a cocktail party. Can I tag along? He probably got a lot more people than he bargained for because of the nature of the fact that he was in a concentrated area with an event. So he's going to the event, and then he's also doing this cocktail party. I wonder if he did a third thing. I'm going to have to research that. But what a great way to build up brand recognition by going to a place and offering a free event. So,
well, and probably his third point may have been at these events that we even go to, there's a lot of business card exchanges, and then you follow up with them after that. And see, I feel like it's this path you go along. First, you meet them, and instead of making your sales pitch necessarily right then, you can say, oh, well, if you want to know more, I have this exclusive event you're welcome to attend, or a webinar, or private webinar, whatever it is. Make it, and then from there you can.
I bet to get into that event.
You bet to get in. See, it was exclusive.
Well, it's not even that, but you also probably, if you come in, you have to, so here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't know if Adam did this because I didn't go. I just saw it on Facebook.
You weren't invited.
I wasn't invited. No, I was just kidding. I wasn't in Dallas. So, I would have crashed even if I wasn't invited because that's what I do. So just ask Kathy Fettke. Done that with her a couple of times.
I can see that.
So here's what I would say to you. If you're going to do an event like that, give people drink tickets. To get the drink tickets, they have to give you a business card, right? So you hit them there, and then after that, then you can hit them your 3 times. And I think I saw a point. Oh yeah, Steven said, what about a free event and the 3 points of contact? What can you talk about? Well, the thing is, Steven, we're really just we're getting people to understand what's going on. So talk about whatever you want. My recommendation to you is do not be asking anybody for money.
Right.
We've gotten it all set up, right? Now we're hitting them hard. We've got our 3 points of contact. We're doing our free event. We're then following up with them after the fact and saying, hey, what's going on? I mean, if any of you have ever come to us for an engagement agreement or for a quote, I send you I do my point of contact. We do a conference call with you. That's number 1. Then when we get off the phone with you, we either send you one of 3 things. We send you an email. We either send you a thank you, we send you a quote, or we send you an engagement agreement. And then after that, Clemen in our office is going to follow up with you a bunch of times. And then, we'll see what happens. But it's those points of contact that are really important for us to stay at the top of your mind, so you don't go to another law firm. I mean, that's what we're doing.
We've done some of these things on your list too. We've done events where we just go and explain what we do, what our business is.
Yeah.
And from that generates interest.
Yeah. So these are the things you really want to be focusing on, is getting your 3 points of contact. So so this is your sales process. You're selling without selling, right? You are forth a great foundation. You're putting forth amazing groundwork that you've already done all the work. Now you are just presenting it. And this is for any business. You're presenting what you've done. So again, I'll use our law firm as an example. I'm constantly tinkering with our foundation and our groundwork so that when I go and do these things, it's there. And I'm tinkering with it to make it a better client experience. What's an example of that, Nancee? Like, what do we do here that
Well,
we're constantly
we have weekly meetings and we are constantly reviewing our business plans, our policies, or we have lots of IT stuff that we're trying to update. It's a whole package.
Right.
But we review every week and try and improve.
Yeah, and so something I want you guys all to go, if you don't follow him on Facebook, there's a gentleman by the name of Ryan Stuman. He calls himself the hardcore closer. If you go and look at a post he put up yesterday on Facebook, I think this tells us all about how we have to cycle through these things, set the foundation, lay the groundwork, be prepared, and then do your 3 points of contact. And that post talks about how getting the sale done is easy. It's the performance that makes it difficult. So you can't perform if you don't have these other things set up. And you really just want to make sure that once you have those 3 points of contact, you're able to perform. If you set the foundation, you lay the groundwork, and you're prepared, it should be a piece of cake. And what do I mean by that? You know how you're going to report to investors. You know what the plan is. You have an idea of what distributions are going to be. You've done your financial modeling. You've done all these things before you even taken a dollar, so that when you take that dollar, you run it through that whole gamut again. And then you can go back and improve and tinker and grow. And we are proof positive of using this very method to build this law firm. You should be able to do this very method to build your business, no matter what business that might be. And I'll say, in the past 2 months alone, just implementing this methodology has grown our business tremendously. So as a matter of fact, I'd like to congratulate Miss Nancee here on becoming a partner in the firm.
Thank you.
So her and Jonathan became partners in the firm. We also hired 2 new attorneys, and it's because we're growing and we have this system in place to really take the client through a method that they feel comfortable with, and we've laid that foundation. We set the foundation, we laid the groundwork. We are ready to take care of them. We have our documents tuned up, ready to go. We're constantly reviewing the whole process every week, Tuesday mornings, 9:30. That's what we do to make sure that we give a better client experience. Now, that sounded like a sales pitch, but it's my experience.
Yeah.
And so that's why I tell that to you, because I want you to know this method, these points, it doesn't matter what business you're in. And I just gave you 2. I gave you the record company example. I gave you a law firm example. I've kind of given you a real estate example, and I'll give you one last real estate example before we start taking questions, because I see the question Q&A going up and up and up, and I will be happy to take those questions in about 2 seconds here. But I want to, for those of you that are sitting out there and I'm in the real estate industry, what do I do? Well, that set of foundation is really straightforward. Get your logo together and figure out what your image is. Do not make your image too broad. If you saw Taylor Swift come out with a heavy metal album and you're a Taylor Swift fan, that would probably turn you off. So I want you to think about that when you are an entrepreneur. If you are all over the place, that means you're confused, and thereby your investors will be confused and they won't invest. So figure out what your image is. If any of you need some help with this, I would strongly recommend reading the book. Actually, this is probably more for step 2. Read the book Traction and figure out what it is that you're trying to do and what it is, the things that you need. Now, and get everything set up that way, and then lay the groundwork. Figure out what your system is. How are you going to take in deals? How are you going to process those deals? How are you going to analyze those deals? How are you going to communicate with investors? How are you going to report to investors? What kind of distributions are you going to give to them? And then figure out a system to implement all those things. Okay.
I just, one last comment, I can relate it back to our law firm too, but this is hardest your first time around.
Yeah.
Once you've gone through it, and if you do it right and do a good job, you're going to get referrals, you're going to get repeat investors. Maybe the investors will put more money in.
Mhm.
And that works the same for us. Is if we can do a good job with our client, maybe they're starting out with a smaller raise, but the plan is that they return and maybe increase that raise, or we get a lot of referrals from clients, existing ones. So as long as you do a really good job on the first one, it's going to make your life a lot easier for subsequent offers.
Right. And so I do go check out Ryan's post, Ryan Stuman, yesterday's post. It's on how sales is easy. It's the follow through that's difficult, but your current investors are your best investors. They're your investors who are most likely to invest with you again. So you need to make sure that all of these things flow together, lest you lose those investors. So it's all cyclical. Our best clients are the clients we already have. There are repeat clients. So just keep that in mind. All right. Are we ready for questions?
Yeah.
Should I just pull them up? Lauren, do you have any
In the
questions on
Q&A.
Facebook?
I moved them
Let's
all
do
over
it.
Q&A.
Oh, you did? Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Since when has Jillian ever lost her voice? Haha, very funny.
Not since I've been working here.
Nah. Oh, what? Okay. I follow you all the time and always share when I see your posts. Love your work. Oh, thank you. That is so sweet. All right. Are there SEC implications to asking friends or strangers for money? Absolutely, Tim. There are huge SEC implications for asking friends and family for money. And so that's why I'm saying you want to go through this system first and then figure out what you want to do regarding the law. There's several different laws out there. We clearly don't have time to go through all of them today. We have tons of other webinars, but I have something that will help all of you. Hold on. I'm going to pull something up here. Give me a second. On my Facebook page. Hold on. All right, privatemoneyrockstar.com. Here we go. All right. This is, hold on, I'm going to share this. I think I have to do a new share. All right. I want to talk to you guys real quick about Private Money Rockstar. If you feel a little overwhelmed from this video, I want to invite you to sign up for Private Money Rockstar. It's a program I've created to take you through all of these things and help you with putting this together, analyzing what it is you're putting together. One of the things I had in that word cloud was newsletter, and I'm going to teach you how to do a really, really effective newsletter and how to put that together and what the content in that newsletter is. And I'm going to even help you analyze your content for you. Here's the thing about Private Money Rockstar though. I'm the worst salesperson at selling Private Money Rockstar. And this is twofold. Number one, I feel like my job is to help you with your legal requirements, not to sell you educational products. However, I feel there is a massive need in the marketplace for this product. That's why I created this product, was because there's this need of people who they don't know how to advertise. They don't know how to put it together. So I could write you all the most fabulous, legal documents in the world. Nancee actually writes better legal documents than me, but I probably shouldn't admit that. Or Nancee could write you the most fabulous legal documents in the world, but if you don't know how to raise the money or don't have the systems in place to raise the money, then it does you no good, correct? So I created this program to feed and to help that particular need. So we have a special price of $14.97, and then we give you 6 weeks of coaching. I'm actually going to do 8 weeks of coaching. We're going to start on September 4th, which I believe is the Tuesday after Labor Day. I'm also a bad salesperson at this because I don't actually want a lot of you to sign up for it, because the more of you that sign up for it, the more of you I have to hold your hand. And I want to do the best job that I can. So I limit the amount of people who can come into this program every time I do it. I do it probably 4 times a year. September 3rd. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. September 3rd. So we're going to start September 3rd, and I'm going to coach you for 8 weeks on putting it together. But wait, there's more. We have a complete program set up, self-paced program where you get all of these things right here. And you're really going to get a lot of value from this. You don't have to hire our law firm. It's a small investment. And the real reason why you should do this is because what this course does is it supports a lot of charitable endeavors. Specifically, it supports my anti-human trafficking charity called Project Purpose International, where we pull girls off the street in actually that's the royal we.
That sounds the wrong way. Yeah.
We do pull girls off the street, but it's the royal we, because I don't do anything.
Right.
I just write checks. There's a woman named Katie who actually goes to Mozambique and gets girls in human traffic situations and gets them out of those traffic situations and rehabilitates them. And actually, oftentimes, those women have children, and she pulls them into her center and educates them, clothes them, feeds them, gives them all kinds of resources to start life over after being involved in a human trafficking situation. So that's in part what your money goes towards when you sign up for this course, and that's why it's really important. But these are all the great things you get, and I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to hold your hand and help you through the whole thing. But there is a limited availability. It's first come, first serve. So if you don't get in this time, maybe you can see me next time. I do these coaching sessions as I have availability, and so my next 8-week coaching session is going to start again on September 3rd. But let's keep going. All right. So for the gentleman who asked the question about the law, I cover all that stuff. I cover the marketing, I cover the law, I call all kinds of great things. All right, so our next question is, Jillian, are you any relation to Nick Sidoti in the multifamily space? Just curious. No, I'm not. I know him. He looks just like my brother-in-law, which is really weird. But yeah, I do know Nick. He's a great guy. All right, Stephen asks, no boost and no personal Facebook page. You need a business account.
Yeah.
Will you guys and your hair be in my real estate sizzle reel? Yes.
Woo! Gotta go get it done again.
Okay.
That's funny.
Okay. Can't you advertise to investors if you are the sponsors? Andrew, that's a very good question. It depends on what type of offering you're doing. If you're doing a Rule 506C offering, you can do general solicitation for investors for sure. If you're doing a Regulation A offering, you can do general solicitation for investors. But if you are trying to network amongst your friends and family and are not necessarily taking accredited investors, then the answer is no. You have to find other better ways to get investors through the door. And a lot of those we covered here, but also check out Private Money Rockstar and some of our other videos that we have online to find out that. And also, you know what? I'm going to interrupt these questions with another promotion. If you need just a quick fix and you feel like your question's relatively simple and you want, a quick answer, if you go to Private Money Rockstar's Facebook or Crowdfunding Lawyers Facebook page, you can find our Private Money Minutes. And the Private Money Minutes are literally 1 minute long, answering questions just like these. So if you're up in the middle of the night and you want a quick fix, go to Private Money Minutes. All right. Will this webinar address the mechanics of setting up a crowdfunding venture and the various platforms to use? No, but we do have those. We have done those before. And if you need, Ozzy, a specific subject that you'd like to have us do on a webinar, please just let us know what you have. But we will do a how to set up a crowdfunding platform if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking how to crowdfund your deals, we have webinars on 506B versus 506C and how to find a crowdfunding platform as well. Again, check out Private Money Minutes. Check out some of our older webinars. We have all kinds of stuff like that. I took the Trowbridge syndication course 5 years ago and then did a real estate project. The value of his presentation was the description of the PPM operating agreement and the pro forma. Will that be addressed? Nope. Again, we have other webinars that address those fine details, but in Private Money Rockstar as well, I have a complete manifesto on those things. In one of the courses, I also have a video in there that addresses those things as well. Would you rather have invested in Amazon 10 years ago or today? Bezos made a good foundation, which is what they're talking about. Yeah, I would definitely have preferred 10 years
Right.
ago. Yeah, so. Should I have all this paperwork that Jillian mentioned be prepared prior to approaching angel investors? Okay, angel investors are a different story because a lot of times they're going to control the deal. But if you want to be in complete control of the deal, have this stuff prepared. Also, you should have this stuff prepared in the event that angel investors are just not that into you. That is a risk. So if you don't have it ready, if you don't have your stuff ready for if you don't have stuff ready for common folk to invest and you're solely relying on angel investors, you run the risk of running out of time to properly capitalize or finance your deals. So what your angel investors really need is a good solid pitch deck where the pitch deck tells the angel investor right up front what the deal is. And we do teach that in Private Money Rockstar. That's actually one very specific course in Private Money Rockstar where we talk about pitching to investors and how to prepare a investor presentation. Actually, I think that's what it's called, investor presentation. So check that out, Heather, if you get a chance. Ian asks, how long should we allow for the paperwork process, knowing it's going to vary from type of investment, 1 month, 2 months, or, Ian, we prepare your paperwork in 3 to 4 weeks. And really we can get it done faster, except that we want you to read the paperwork. Mm-hmm. And usually the sponsor does not read the paperwork in a timely fashion. So we always tell people to prepare 3 to 4 weeks. So that we have time to prepare, you have time to read, we have time to make edits and finalize and pretty up those documents for you. So at what point do you recommend setting up a preliminary documents or entity structure, typically if acquiring commercial real estate? Prior to offer, during due diligence, after due diligence, what's the usual time frame to set up those things if possible? You want to get your documents done at LOI no sooner, no later. Okay. So if you're syndicating, and Richard, I'm assuming you're syndicating a specific deal. If you're syndicating a specific deal, we always recommend that you set up your documents at LOI. Why is that, Nancee?
Well, you want to be ready to get your investors, have time to get all your paperwork done, because just this week we have 2 where we are up against the deadline for closing and we're still trying to get paperwork done. And you don't want to have that crunch time at the end. The other issue is our firm offers a great deal where we understand sometimes deals fall through and you're not going to make it to closing. So we do a one-time rewrite of your documents for a new deal if your first deal falls through.
Right.
So you're safe either way with coming and getting everything prepared beforehand.
Right. Exactly. So Daniel's asking, how would you put together a plan to raise capital for oil exploration? Okay. So you want to tell the story, Daniel, of what kind of oil. There's all kinds of different oil exploration opportunities out there, right? So back when Back in Shale was really popular, that was the story of the oil. This is a new frontier of oil exploration. We're now able to, frack up in the Dakotas to get oil. It's a really great opportunity. Oil's at this price per barrel. Oil's still high in demand. Oil, blah, 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 blah. And again, notice how I didn't talk about what the return is for investors. But the opportunity that exists globally. So that's what you want to focus on. And that's how I would put that together. Talk about your specific oil exploration opportunity, because you can get something unique out of that for sure. I hope that answers that question. Do you have any referrals from marketing firms that are experienced in creating content to promote fundraising? I understand all that you are recommended. However, I need assistance in creative and digital marketing. Tracy, I have some great ideas for you. And what it really starts with is finding articles that you like, or asking people to find articles that you like and then just rewriting those articles. So oftentimes, I'm going to give you guys a big secret. I don't do this all the time. I do this on occasion when I feel like I really just need extra help. Oftentimes what I'll do is I find a group of articles I really think are good decent starts. Then I get those articles together and I ask a person in like the Philippines or India, I have a couple people I work with, to rewrite those articles for me. And then I have a second person punch up those articles. After the experienced writer writes the article for me, I have somebody punch up the article to my voice. So in other words, like I have, I feel like most legal articles are super boring. So I have my guy punch it up so it's funny, or at least I think it's funny. Maybe not be that funny. That's okay. We'll deal with that at another time. So that's one technique I do. Really, your question is, do I recommend any marketing firms? And yes, I do. But you still need to have a plan for content and what it is you want to put forth. So that's kind of one of those ways I attack those things. Obviously, these webinars I don't outsource. And then also I do market testing. Like I see what people are interested out there, and then follow those subjects as well. And those are kind of the things you want to do. The other thing you might want to consider, Tracy, is talking about something just knowing what you do is talk about why hotel investing is a great opportunity. Write a little book about it. And you don't have to write the book. Again, write an outline for it and have somebody else write it for you. And there's a lot of services out there that will do that. And then get the book out there and then get somebody to market the book for you. And then it all comes full circle. Do you help with the business plan? Yeah, to a certain extent we do. We certainly do help with your business plan. And I also, part of Private Money Rockstar, we have business plan templates in there, actual full written business plans that you guys can take and use and look at and adopt.
Lauren already sent a link out for the traction books. You can go there and check that out. There's a question about
the traction, yeah. Does this apply for 506B as well, promoting on Facebook? Yeah, because here's the thing. We're not telling you to ask anybody for money. We're asking you, remember my example on Boeing? That ad wasn't asking investors to invest. It was just talking about how great their 747 was. And no one was going to be buying a 747. All right, we got a couple more questions here and then I'm going to wrap up. What if any thoughts do you have now about accepting money or partners who are foreign? Especially since Trump signed FIRMA Act, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States is the interagency committee that oversees transactions and their potential threat to national security and reports to FIRMA. I'm going to be perfectly frank with Richard. You just asked something that went way over my head. I don't know. From a securities perspective, you can go ahead and accept foreign money. What we really want to worry about is people who are on the OFAC list. And we also want to worry about homeland security issues, people who are, investing from sanctioned countries. You can't do that. You can't take any money from people who have 15% or more of their assets in sanctioned countries. Those are countries like Iraq, Iran, Syria, any hostile, North Korea, although I don't think any money is coming out of North Korea.
just missiles.
All right. Well, all right. Go. I'll let you read this one.
If we have friends and family or run a networking event, what can we disclose about a 506B offering in front of them? So that will depend on who is at this network. And there becomes a gray area when you're doing a Facebook Live, even if it's just to friends or webinars. You have to have very strict control over who can access and share those things. And you have to be sure that whoever is going to view that event is someone that you already have that pre-existing relationship with. If you're not able to show that, then I wouldn't give them the details of that particular offering and just give them general information about your business.
Mm-hmm.
And then people can reach out to you for more information.
Right. And also, honestly, if you're having events, that is not a great time for a call to action for investing specifically. Really what it should be is that this is what we're doing. If you're interested, let's have a follow-up call, follow-up what have you, or you can go right to our website and invest there. And that should be the call to action, because you really want investors who are committed, not investors who make a decision at a cocktail party that they regret later. You want good quality, well-informed investors that will make it a better experience for everybody all the way around. So I do really want to encourage you that if you are going to have an event, and even if you're going to talk about deal terms, because you do have a substantive pre-existing relationship with everybody in the room, you do want to be able to say, with such great, I did a good job vetting my investors. You really do. So
Let me read it.
Yeah.
Jillian, is this a new course, or is it the same as the one you gave out to Anthony Char's workshop attendees from a few years ago?
This is a new course, but if you are an Inner Circle member with Anthony Char, I think it's actually Inner Circle in Gold, you do get the course as part of being part of that program. So if you don't have a copy of it and you are part of that, then you're welcome to email me or Lauren and we'll get you on that.
Okay, last one is, we build over 60 single-family homes a year. Can we use syndications funds for development of single-family homes? We need more capital to scale. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, with a single family home, you should, we do a lot of single family home funds, and that's exactly what you should be doing. You should be doing a fund. And Kenvin's, you should be doing, you should be conditioning your investors right now to understand what it is you do. And condition, that's a bad term to use. You should be letting people know what it is that you do right now. And what I mean by that is you should be showing before and afters of the single family homes. You should be talking about the value you're adding to those communities. You should be I don't know if you're doing flips or you're doing rentals, but whatever the case may be, that's what you should be focusing on right now, because your Facebook members or audience most likely is not buying those single family homes. But that's how I want you to think Boeing, 747, full page ad, Forbes magazine. No one's buying it. No one's buying your single family homes, but this is how you're building up trust and reliability, and the fact that you know what you're doing when it comes to putting together deals and in rehabbing homes and renting them out and managing them or reselling them, whatever it is. Never answered any questions without an investor accreditation form. Oh, Jim, you've been coming to these, huh? I appreciate that. So Jim's saying never answer any questions without an investor accreditation form. Absolutely. And I'm so glad we're ending with this, because that is such a great point. If somebody says to you, well, how much am I going to make? And you don't have an investor accreditation form for them, this is a great way to not only be legally compliant, which is obviously the first thing you want to do, but also to play a little hard to get. And what I mean by that is, if somebody says to me, well, how can I invest? Well, whoa. Let's make sure this relationship's going to work first before we get married. I need you to fill out an investor qualification form. I'll make sure that this relationship is a good fit, like that you're going to be a good fit for us and we'll be a good fit for you. And then we can talk further about that. And that makes you legally compliant, and also makes it so you're a little hard to get. And we do have an investor qualification form in the Private Money Rockstar. So if you're not a client of the firm, you can get one there. Okay, that's all our questions. We got through all of them. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Don't forget to visit privatemoneyrockstar.com to sign up. I'm only taking a limited number of people for the next course, which starts on September 3rd. And thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye.